Welcome to the Real Salty Podcast. Please join Stephanie and Caitlin as we dive into life in Florida, the good, the salty, and everything in between. We'll chat about real estate, family, sports, building a community, and all the unique things that make living in the Sunshine State so special. Plus, we'll bring on some amazing special guests to share their stories and expertise along the way. So grab your favorite drink and get ready to laugh, learn, and get a little salty with us. Here we are again.
We are here.
Real Salty Podcast with my friend Caitlin. And as you know, I'm Stephanie. And we are, I don't know, four times in a row?
I think
in our studio that we like to call.
Yep, season 3.
Yep, season 3 in our studio and recapping the weekend.
Yes.
Easter.
It was an Easter weekend.
It was an Easter weekend.
Yep. Did you guys do anything?
No, we went over to my parents' house. We were open for jet ski business.
Huh.
Busy.
Yep.
People were enjoying jet skis. I mean, it was a gorgeous day. It started out kind of windy, but it ended up being really, really nice. So it was a good day. It was just a gorgeous day to be out
I feel
on
like the weather was really nice all weekend. It was breezy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to the beach on Saturday.
Yeah, I was like, she's got to be in John's Pass somewhere. When I text you, I'm like, I did nothing on Saturday. Well, I tried to do nothing. I mean, nothing never ends up happening, but I tried to do nothing on Saturday. So I went down to John's Pass and I was like, I wonder if Caitlin's lurking around because your friend was in town.
Yeah, I was going to say for the holiday, it's just Trent and I, we do have some extended family here in the Tampa Bay area, but I actually had one of my best girlfriends come in town. Her name's Sarah from St. Louis, and so she came in for kind of a quick weekend getaway. Yeah. Weather was great, but of course, having someone in for the Midwest, we're going to do a beach day, right?
That's when you do Florida things.
Day.
Otherwise, you're just living your life like normal.
No, we don't totally lie about how often we go to the beach, to people back home. But.
Exactly. Right. Well, you just
I don't. Happens. I swear I go all the time.
Right.
Okay. As they're freezing. That was the other thing. It was rainy. It was cold. I mean, we went further north from Missouri.
It was really cold. I think it snowed in Buffalo.
Yeah. There was some crap. Which, I mean, living in the Midwest, Easter was always a roll of the dice, right? It was always
April showers bring me flowers.
Do we get to wear winter coats over our Easter dresses? And are we going to layer up the tights?
Do you have tights?
Right,
exactly.
tights on tights.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Sarah comes in town a decent amount, though.
Yeah, she's actually able to come in town a lot more often now. She has some business that is kind of in the greater Tampa area for her work, and so, I mean, I'm expecting her to come at least quarterly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's really nice she can bookend her trips, but we went to the beach on Saturday, and I'm going to tell you straight, though, okay? So we had one of those, 10 by 10 tailgating tents that we to put up. I swear to God that if Sarah wasn't there, we would have literally walked out there and been like, nope, because
it's windy.
The battle, battle to get it up.
Yeah.
And we had all the preparedness. We had this, the tie downs and the sandbags and the weights and the strap around the poles and everything. But just getting her up, right?
Was a lot.
And then secured was a lot. I'm so glad that Trent was there because there is not an ice cold chance in hell that Sarah and I would have got this up by ourselves. So love you so much, Trent.
Yeah.
Another thing, we did the beach day. I'm glad we did. It was a beautiful day. There was a ton
gorgeous.
Of people there. But it was. I kept yelling, "Red flag warning!"
Oh,
red flag warning.
I mean, there pretty much was.
I kept looking around. Do we not have the flags out anymore?
No.
Damn it.
We don't lifeguards. We don't have flags. It's just riptide. Just assume it.
Good luck to everybody. Oh, I made sure to warn Sarah, though, because it's to shuffle. The stingray shuffle.
Oh, yeah, stingray shuffle.
Isn't it mating season right now?
It is, for every animal there is.
Yeah, so anybody that doesn't live here or wasn't aware or vacations here needs to know that when you're walking into the Gulf, you need to do what's called the stingray shuffle, meaning don't pick up your feet, just shuffle it across the sand, because if something is kind of halfway buried, you're more likely to kind of tap her with your toe, and then it's like, it gets on out of here.
Yeah, because you don't want to walk on a stingray.
I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but on this topic of conversation, Trent's going to kill me. I've got to tell this story. So, 14 years ago.
Oh, gosh.
The very first time Trent comes down here with my family for my family vacation. Because when my father was still alive, we still tried to do the annual vacation down here. And so Trent comes down for the very first time with my family. He knows the shuffle. He got the briefing, okay? This poor man, the very first day, full day that we're here for our week-long vacation, is shuffling. And he said he shuffled. He felt it, like the edge of
Something
it wiggle out from underneath of him. But on the way out, that Steve Irwin, son of a
God,
whipped him with its barbed tail. And this is like Pet Cemetery Nightmares. Cut him across his Achilles tendon. Sliced it. Like, luckily not deep enough to where it actually messed up, like cartilage. All the nastiness. But of course, immediately he's like, ow, ow. Okay, something bit. He thought something bit him,
he's
right?
with your family.
And
he
so
want to appear
him and I are coming out of the water because then he lifts up his leg. We're only in about probably 5 feet of water. And there's
oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh my
so
gosh.
immediately he started to hop out of the water. The salt, it hurts. All the things. There is a woman with 2 small children, probably maybe 25, 30 feet from us. I didn't know what had got a hold of him, and he kept saying I got bit, right?
Well, what do we all think?
I'm trying to yell at him. She sees me like helping him out of the water and him like holding the leg up, and she kind of looks concerned. And I was like, something bit him in the water. You might want to take the children out of the water.
Help the children.
Something's built
Save the children.
Well, then it became clear that she didn't speak English. And so to transcend language barriers, I went, da, 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 da. And she immediately grabbed those kids and ran out of the Gulf.
Mama Bear jumped in.
That was clear.
Oh my
and so
gosh.
then we come limping out with him bleeding, go to the urgent care, stitches, and of course they had to disinfect it regularly.
Yeah,
and
sure.
He's lucky he only got stitches, but then the poor guy was told, you can't go back in the Gulf your entire vacation.
Right, of course, because he can't get
contamination. Right. Well, I'm not going to say on day 3.
It's always about contamination.
We might have Missouri MacGyvered a bag with some duct tape.
There might have been a garbage bag.
And we figured it out.
Yeah. But just like taking a shower.
Stingray shuffle people. And even then it's not foolproof, so just be careful.
And they do show signs, but I don't know how many of those signs are actually up anymore.
The way that,
they might not be.
We're missing a lot of signs.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of signs in general. Well, we just got, fortunately, the crosswalks up and going before spring break, like a month ago.
Yep.
So that their electricity wasn't even working on the streets. So it was, so there's a lot of development going on right now, which is.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, today alone, I saw a couple of homes that were being knocked down. So that's some good stuff from the town that it's really moving along with plans.
It's
right?
It's interesting you say that because I have been noticing that there's been an increase in demolition, complete demolition.
I saw
of
2
the existing
today.
Structure. Yeah,
I saw 2 of them going
that
on.
multi-apartment.
Yeah,
on my street.
over by John's Pass, and then there was one on Bayshore that was getting demoed too, which was so sad. I mean, you could just see the water.
That must be the one I can hear from my house.
You probably could.
Yeah.
This one probably too. And this is so random, but while like the dump truck is coming in and doing like probably what you would train your kid in the sandbox to do, right, is just demo something.
Right.
They're spraying water at the same time. Is that because of fire?
So,
you know why?
I got 2 guesses. Number 1, yes, just in case all the utilities, which is understandable, should be turned off, right?
Yeah.
Natural gas might run to the property.
Oh.
There is, or there might be a propane tank buried. I don't think there's natural gases on the island, is there? Is there natural gas lines on the island?
There's got to be for the restaurants.
I think there is. And we should really look into that as agents. We should know that.
Yeah, probably.
You know what? Take that part out. No, I was kidding.
We're like, how many houses have we showed in there?
We listen and we learn. So, remember, no judging. No, you're right. There's got to be natural gas lines. So yes, even though the utilities should be turned off, like God forbid a man goes 6 inches too deep or something.
Yeah,
we're all calling 1-800-DIG, right?
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
But yeah, I'd have to imagine that. And honestly, I would think the metal on metal with the bucket could spark something that could set on fire. With the wood timber or the insulation or something like that. Electrical wise, you also don't know what might not.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's
off.
Probably true.
And honestly, my last thought is, which is probably mute, it's so freaking dry out there right now.
It is so dry.
It is so dry out there right now. We need a good drenching rain.
We do.
The dust, the sand,
the pollen.
The pollen.
It's like out of control right now.
Exactly. So I would think that it's probably
a combination of a whole bunch of different
things. Keep it down, because if it's demoing and it's creating dust and it's creating
that might be it too, actually. Because that was clearly someone's job.
Keeping it down.
It wasn't like some guy that they hired and they had a hose. It was literally someone's job. They had a tank out there. They were doing it. And I had never really watched someone do it.
I bet it's twofer. I bet it's majorly to avoid fire hazard. And then again, the spark on spark. utility, if it's not a firefighter, I don't know.
It wasn't.
That's what he does.
I wish it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But and it's actually not that expensive.
Like Joe Dirt with a fire hose between his legs.
Pretty close to it.
In a sun shirt.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be sun shirt. Yeah. And it's actually not even that expensive to demo.
No, it's not.
Probably at best $15,000.
I mean, yeah, depending on the square footage of the structure, the height of the structure, and things like that. But when you're talking about these residential areas,
it's
even
not bad.
in the mixed-use streets, we're talking about. I mean, there is one smaller apartment complex on my street that I have to imagine has about 12 or more units on it, and that is probably the largest structure, unless you're on Gulf Boulevard. When you're on Gulf Boulevard, you're trying to be huge.
Yeah, you're talking about huge.
Like that. Otherwise, you're talking single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes.
Yeah, but a lot of people have their fences up that they're getting ready to do something, or that they've gotten it demoed, and you know that those properties are moving forward, which is exciting because it's really like you can still see a lot of areas that just haven't been touched as much.
It's sad to look at a building that's been completely abandoned and derelict. And granted, even the people that own it, they're upkeeping it so it doesn't go completely to hell.
Yeah.
But it's a dark house on the street. It's a dark.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, no, you don't want that either. The squatters to be in there as well.
Well, that too. But at the same time, it's for us that are here.
It is depressing.
It's depressing. So to even see action going
it's
on,
depressing to
which
for them
signals,
as well.
Of course, and it signals new life, right?
It does.
New
beginnings, and we had some people that were in over the weekend, and they had gone to Fort Myers after Ian had hit, and then they had also come to us, and they were so impressed. It's nothing against Fort Myers because we used some of their learnings.
Not
me.
I mean, a head-on hit from a Cat 4.
Yeah, exactly. We were 100 miles offshore, so it's not even like apples to apples.
I mean, we got flooded, but
we
the
got
wind
flooded,
that they sustained. Now, granted, we got a follow-up with Milton, but Cat 4
that hit them
head on.
Yeah, but we took like as many learnings as we could and tried to apply, which was awesome. But and then we got to go to the mayor's lunch the other day.
Oh yeah, that was last Thursday.
Yeah.
So shout out to the city of Madeira Beach, our amazing mayor Anne Marie.
Yeah, I mean it was done so well.
I think so too.
I mean, first of all, the turnout was great. Business owners and residential.
I'd venture to say there was only 75 people there. How many people?
I would say I was expecting one table worth, and I think there was at least 4 or 5.
There was definitely like 4 or 5 Last Supper tables that had like 20 plus people.
Exactly, that were all. And Madeira Beach, of course, did a great job where they had like appetizers going and just they were feeding people, and they did a fantastic job. Yeah, they did a really great job. And what I loved about it, all she did was introduce herself, and then she was like, okay, what's questions?
What do we want to talk about today?
And we just opened it up. And so one of the things that started off very early was about some of these pop-up businesses. Yeah. As you've seen probably if you've come in town, you see some on Tom Stewart, you see some on Madeira Way, you see some in John's Pass, and apparently they have an extension through the end of May to stay for their special permits. We did that, and that was very common right after COVID too. When it wasn't necessarily because anyone was destroyed, but more because they were trying to give people more space so that everyone could be socially
and spread out. Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think that some of the business owners thought that maybe it'd be a little bit more business oriented, but honestly, it's not about us. We're just still getting the residentials. We're just still getting the residential people back up and running. We do.
But I think that, it would be worth bringing up that there should be a business owner specific.
Yeah, I mean, there should be. I mean, there definitely should be. At the very least at John's Pass. I mean, there definitely should be. And there's a couple people that could lead that charge and be incredibly successful with that charge. I mean,
okay, well, I love you, but do not.
No.
That. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to cut this off at the pass right now.
Exactly. Because you know that I would try and do that. I'd be like,
well, and you're just like, well,
and my
no
brain
one else
goes
is
there.
Going to do it.
Yeah, my brain goes there. My brain goes there.
At the end of the day, you're going to go home and tell Michael, I think I could do it.
I think I could do it. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got enough.
We will attend the meetings.
We will.
We're not running them.
We're not running them. I am so okay.
And see, I'm not telling myself this because I'm not a business owner.
Yes.
I'm telling you this as a friend.
Yes. And you could not be further from the truth. And everyone that knows me that's watching is like, oh God, of course she would try and take that on.
You see me cutting this off at the pass?
Yes.
This is recorded.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why she's the bestie. She tells me when I can't do it. So it's good.
I know you could do it.
Yes. I don't need to be doing it. I really don't. Someone else can take that charge. And not because they're any less busy than me, but just because.
This will be the same spiel that you need to tell me in 5 years' time where I'm like, I could be a commissioner.
Yeah.
Just smack me.
Yeah.
Just whack-a-mole me right down.
But you could be.
No.
But we'll see where you're at and what you've got going on. Because that's kind of everything with it. But yeah. So it was a good meeting. And then we met Hannah.
Yes, okay.
So Hannah.
Yes.
Hannah love her.
Yeah. So I actually apparently didn't have time to wait for the waitress because there was a lot of Last Supper tables. So I went up to the bar to get a beverage.
And that's appropriate with it being Easter.
I think so.
I think so appropriate. It was Good Thursday.
Right?
Yeah.
So up there, meet this lovely girl. I was like, hi, I'm Caitlin. Because I'm a friendly baby deer apparently in public.
You are.
She's like, oh, hi, I'm Hannah. She had her business logoed out hat, which by the way, we gotta get those hats.
Oh my God, she was adorable.
So we actually collect we should start collecting the local treasure hats.
We should. That's actually a good idea.
I think we should do that.
That's what we should do.
Put them on the shelf. We'll tell Hannah. Okay. So Hannah actually owns the Fruit Float, which if you're not a local to the area, or if you have to visit somewhat recently, even Pre-Storm, I saw her out there. She has this amazing business idea where we have the Johns Pass Sandbar.
And she's a local.
And
And like
third generation Pinellas County, born and raised, I think I heard. And I'm like, oh, you are.
She was adorable. I mean, everything was destroyed for her. I mean, and I saw her storefront today. So she's got a storefront, which is interesting, right on Gulf Boulevard.
Yeah, she does. Right
just north
Johns
of
Pass, so it's on the west side.
Right? Right across from Madeira Bay Resort. Yeah. Right north of TRS, the rental company.
Yep.
And she stores her, I mean, they're literally like canoes /
So the business
kayaks.
idea is amazing. It is. It looks like some kind of just dropped out of the islands, bamboo-esque, like canoes that they've fitted with like sunshades, and they literally fill them with like ice.
Yeah.
Obviously have their food license. And they go out to the sandbar in the beach areas, and they literally, you can have like coconuts, and they make like stuff
coconuts,
pineapples, and they carve them out, and like it's the freshest of fresh.
So one of the employees over at Woody said that they are always sold out, like because they just go up to boats and ask, and who doesn't?
Well,
and how do you feel
one
more
girl
islanding?
with a pineapple, I want a pineapple.
Yeah, and how do you not feel so islanding?
Exactly. It's
amazing. You just feel like it's good for you. So after you're slamming your 30 beers, of course
it's a photo opportunity at the very least.
I mean, it's so islandy, but they've got like 2 or 3 boats. So she was at this meeting, which was she's so funny.
She's lovely, and we actually do want to have her back on as well.
I know she is so. I never thought I would use the word lovely in my life, but I actually love this word more in my later adult 40s life.
Right?
And there's no other way to describe her, but she's so lovely. And she was just, we were laughing. I mean, we were paying attention.
We were very much paying attention.
Yes.
But the second I realized she's one of us,
that's exactly
I said,
it.
Where are you sitting? You have to come sit
I
with
know,
us.
and I made a comment to her, and I was like, oh my God, this girl, like she was, oh my God, I was
just like, come with me.
Yeah.
And so basically then it was kind of ironic because I remember it was Amy Zink, one of the co-owners of E.4, and I was like, meet Hannah, the owner of the Fruit Float business. Meet Stephanie Berry, the co-owner of Woody's Water Sports. And I
had seen her earlier taking pictures of her float.
And I was like,
oh my gosh, I saw you
my watercraft friends.
Yes, exactly.
Now
exactly.
Go.
She was so, oh my God, I was so happy to meet her.
Yeah.
They were out yesterday too, and out on the water, I saw them.
I saw 2 of them going by too.
So cute.
Actually, before my girlfriend left on yesterday, which was Easter, it was Trent's birthday.
Yes.
So, I mean, it wasn't a real Easter at my house.
Did you go to the Elks Club?
We ended up not going.
Oh.
I know. So Sarah decided we wanted to. Well, it was from 1 to 4.
Oh, I didn't know there was a time frame.
1 to 4. And
then you had a very short time frame.
And Sarah had to leave for the airport at 2.
Oh,
and we were shopping
so
in the
short.
pass, and so I was like, "Look, we can hurry back and still go and eat if you want before you leave." And she said that when she landed, she was planning on going to her brother's house, and they had done a big Easter spread. It's an hour behind. So
Yeah.
she goes, I'm going to get mine.
And she'd had Boardwalk Grill for breakfast.
We did have Boardwalk Grill for breakfast.
Which is so yummy.
Which we need to talk about, because then we saw.
I know that I was there. Yes, I was
there. So
there.
we're sitting at Boardwalk Grill, and all of a sudden, right below us is Woody's Water Sports, and my girlfriend makes a comment, oh, look at that adorable black lab.
Yes.
Odie was running
Odie.
off the dock, and
that's what he lives
in the
for
water,
every
course,
day.
just giving the people what they want.
Yes, that's what he lives for. He lays at the end of the dock and just waits for the employees to jump off at the end of the dock, and then he jumps after them. And he jumps in there with them, and he's like, we have to actually train the employees. You have to be careful because Odie will jump on you, and then he scratches you. And then you go.
Because he loves you so much.
Because he does, and he thinks that you might be drowning.
Dog pile on the rabbit.
Yeah, exactly. And so his natural instincts start kicking in, and then he remembers a dog, and I say to him, like, Odie, make bubbles. And so he sits there and he goes like this. And it's like, and then so everyone over at Caddy/Scully's is like, the dog, the dog. So I stopped by there today, and he's in full summer mode now. So right by our office area, we have like, it's shallow, depending on the tide. It's most of the time it's just a little beach.
Yeah.
And Odie just hangs out there all day in the beach. So people that are walking by are like, oh my gosh, look at a sheep head. Is that a snook? Oh, and a dog. Like, so, but yeah, Odie was there.
I was gonna say Odie was there. So then when Sarah made a comment, oh, look at the adorable dog.
You're like,
oh yeah, and I go, that means Stephanie's there.
That's
we'll
right.
Go say hi.
That's right.
So we made
Yeah,
sure
I was glad you
by.
stopped by. I was glad you stopped by. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so we didn't make it to the Elks Club. So Sarah decided she'd rather do a little bit more shopping. And I said, look, Trent, we can still go. She's gonna leave here too, so we have between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
But it was his birthday, so I was like, I don't know. He just wasn't like, yay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah, it's up to him
do
then.
you want to go? I was like, 'cause Sarah doesn't care if we go now. And I'm like, do you want to go? It's your birthday. What do you want to do? And he's like, eh. And so he decided that he wanted something different to eat. So we ordered steaks.
Oh, that's nice. Where do you order them from?
Actually, funny enough, we ordered just Uber Eats, like Outback last
Oh,
week.
yum.
Yeah.
That's yum.
Texas Roadhouse, you need to get on Uber Eats, by the way. But no, we just did Outback. And
that's one of our favorites. Michael worked there forever ago.
It was easy.
We did our rehearsal dinner, actually, at Outback. Yeah, like forever ago. One of our really good friends owned the Outback or was the GM of the Outback that we were at. And so we had this whole little area and did our rehearsal dinner there. It was, we loved going there. Yeah, we loved to go there. It was
delicious. He got the porterhouse, I got the filet, the entrees.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did like the this raspberry cheesecake.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice for him.
Really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For his birthday, though, I just want to give a shout out to the Cigar Paradise store
Oh my
in
gosh.
John's Pass.
Well, we went there the other day.
We did go there the other day, and we've been talking about possibly doing an episode inside of the cigar
guy was so
lounge.
nice that we talked to.
So nice. Like shout out
Was
to
it Tyler?
them.
I think it was Tyler.
I think it was
He
Tyler.
was very, very nice. He was just so excited for us, and at the same time, for anyone that has been there in the past, they've like literally quadrupled in size.
At least.
It used to just be this like bowling alley tunnel of you just kind of navigate through. Quality amazing. It didn't
really
matter.
gave me kind of like
it didn't matter.
bodega. Like
Total
vibes.
bodega.
Yeah.
But now they've got this whole like retail shop.
Yeah, no, they acquired the suite that's next to them, which used to be like a clothing store. I mean, a good size one. And they've turned it into this amazing,
almost like a hookah lounge, right?
It
like where
really
it's got
is.
a little
but it's
area
one of the
at the front.
nicest cigar lounges around.
And it's air conditioned, which is nice for them in the
yes. And
coming
of
up
course,
summer months.
this could be where you drop your husband off to go shopping.
Yes.
This could be where the men folk gather.
Yeah,
I know,
because it's open to each other, you can get a drink, even a liquor drink
from Mad Hub,
and then just walk over. So I think it's an incredible addition to
it is
John's
I
Pass.
think it's amazing, and I think we definitely need to
Cigar boxes?
Cigar Paradise.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to tell them how good of a deal the cigar boxes are because then I won't be able to buy more. But if
it
you're
is a
looking
good
for
deal.
cigar boxes for decor reasons, Cigar Paradise in John's Pass, I'm telling you is where it's at. But don't take the ones I want.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, exactly. Yeah, you were eyeing some of them. But
There's a lot of businesses that were, with the bounce back of that and then kind of like reinventing themselves. One of the businesses that, of course, I'm personally happy about seeing back is the Lucky Lizard.
Yes.
So the Lucky Lizard Tap House here in Madeira Beach is also a Kansas City juice
Yes,
bar.
it is. Yeah.
And I know that might not please the masses, but as someone as a Chiefs fan,
it's a nice bar.
I found it very serendipitous.
I actually really
one
like
beach
it.
town that has it. And shout out to the owner, Carla. She is amazing. She's a local herself.
Yeah.
You can spot her driving on Gulf Boulevard. She's got a 4-door cherry red Wrangler, usually with car flags of the Chiefs flying. Mm-hmm. I saw that they did their soft grand opening this past Friday, I believe.
Yeah, I saw them working on it last week, so I don't know why I didn't realize that they had opened, but that's amazing.
I had run into her a couple times between
I wasn't sure they were
over
going
the last
to.
6 months. I ran into her at Pirates Pub actually, and I said, we've met just briefly a couple times, and I'm like, but I just want to let you know, of course I am. I'm a super fan, so of course I did. So I was just like, I just wanted to let you know, like, I love your bar, and I hope to see you guys opening soon.
Yeah, I knew that they had a
support
lot
you in any way we can. And she goes,
through.
thank you very much. We've been, battling through permit processing, but we're on our way.
That's awesome.
And we will reopen.
I actually will have to go over there or something soon because I really like that place too.
I was gonna say
I like it.
Yeah, cue the footage because I'm gonna take some stuff because they have all kinds of flags out. I haven't been back inside yet.
And they've got a good assortment of on tap too, which is usually what I go after.
Great on tap assortment. They have an excellent wine option.
Right on
and
Gulf
their
Boulevard.
menu.
Yeah.
Okay, their chicken Caesar salad is the best chicken Caesar salad
really?
I've ever had in my life.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
They incorporate these like tortilla strips.
Oh,
it's almost like a Mexican Caesar salad
that's
with
like
roasted corn.
Stop. That's like a quesadilla.
And it's huge.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So hopefully that's still a menu item. And then honestly, their happy hour is amazing. And being in the same shopping center as the office.
Okay.
Well, I might find herself over there more often than not.
Yeah.
And their charcuterie boards. So.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to go to that. But so it was interesting to wake up today after it being Easter yesterday, and then Francis passing away. That's so crazy. I know. I mean, it just because he had such a. I thought it was fake news. I thought it was literally fake news. I was like, oh, this. It said something like, "Do you want to see more articles like this?" And I was like, no, because this is fake.
It's not real.
I mean, because he just felt like he recovered, and he was out doing. Stuff yesterday. I know. Stuff. He was blessing people. I mean,
blessing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he was 88 years old, but at the same time, it just, growing up Catholic, I remember when John Paul passed.
Yes. Which was, and this guy was the people's pope, right? Like,
yes. I mean,
it's too bad. It's unfortunate. I mean, he lived a really long, incredibly.
When you look at a man that has used his life to spread nothing but what I believe to be the actual word, where it's love thy neighbor and just
amazing.
Compassion and empathy and
navigate through some of the turmoil they've gone through too.
Wars and things and the unrest and everything. You just it's like when someone lives their life like that with what I consider to be utmost decency, as far as I know.
Yes. Right.
Then it's sad that the world loses that voice.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, and I actually didn't even realize it'd been 12 years. I know. That's crazy. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
I'm going to be honest. I actually felt he had been there longer because.
Okay.
But in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way because to me, this is horrible. I don't even remember the name of the Pope in between. That stepped down. Benedict.
Yeah. That he was the first one that stepped down. Yeah. But just to try and,
of course,
close everything out and try and restart. Which is right.
But to me, it was John Paul.
Yes. You're right. You're right. Exactly. There was just a lot of turmoil that went on during that time frame. But I mean, I mean, I can't even. It's amazing. That's amazing.
It'll be interesting to watch. I mean, there's
it's always something magical
about
that
the
too.
respect of the ceremonial procession that precedes to this. It is just, it's like flipping back in history, right? So,
and there's a couple shows on Netflix that are actually kind of fun that are, good and bad, but like they show you how the process happens, and it's kind of, I mean, it's such an old tradition,
right? That it just has kept going.
Yeah, it's like they have like a certain amount of time, like they has to lay church estate, right? Like a certain amount of time, And then from there, like there's a certain amount of time before they can actually go through and do, what is it, the pontiff?
Well, and it's like today, there was a certain time of day in which, I don't know what the gentleman's official title is, but he went to St. Marco Square and he read an entire rosary prayer, which for people that know the rosary, they were there for a whole while, right? An entire rosary. Yeah.
So, and Rome is not warm, is not cold right now either.
No.
Yeah, we were in Italy. We took the kids to Italy in 2023 January. And then Cooper's going to Florence this summer. So I know. Yeah. So we were there in January of 2023, and we went to we flew into Milan and did Florence, Cinque Terre, and then just that, and then Rome. So that'll be kind of cool for the kids to see that on TV.
Yeah.
Well, anyone that's been there, I mean, there's just something magical about it. No matter what religion you're in, it'd be no different than if you went to the world of Israel, right?
Or going to Jerusalem.
There'd be no difference. It's just history.
Yes.
And then Rome, they say, like, we always know when the project starts, but we never know when it's going to end because they don't know. I mean, it flooded so many times for so long that it's like they just restarted. They're like, well, guess we're going to be 6 inches deep now. We're going to have to rebuild. And so, so that was sad.
With yes, I mean, prayers for the actual people
and the whole process.
To make also sure that that's done in the right way and that
to continue
forward,
the traditions,
the person that's put it in place also upheld basically those beliefs.
That's right. So. But that was kind of interesting to wake up to that. Like I said, I thought it was fake news, but unfortunately.
If we could get like a black belt pope next, though. I was kidding. It'd be kind of cool to have like a ninja. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
You have to be a cardinal. Well, it's requested. It's a senior cardinal.
I'm going to need to see the resume of the cardinals that have karate.
Yes. I'd like to know what your extracurricular hobbies are.
Okay.
Because they do pass things through Caitlin.
Lord, forgive me for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. It's like back in the day. It's like, Bill Clinton plays the saxophone. I know that's not the equivalent of it.
No,
whatever, but I'm just saying, like,
can
just
something
cool.
To have something cool with that. For sure. For sure.
So,
but what's anything going on with the real estate world for you? I have 2 closings this week, so that's exciting. Yeah, single family closing, so I'm excited about that. I'm just really happy for the people.
Yes.
They've both been renting for quite some time because they were on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Both of them equally smart about selling when they did back in 2021 when the market was high, and then have been renting. And they're both closing this week, so I'm super excited for just their new beginnings.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's real. I'm really excited about that. And then, but have you noticed any changes? I know you work in projects a lot.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I've
noticed a little bit of change.
Everything right now, I feel like is not certain.
No,
and it's like,
there's some
the way it's always
instability.
been, or if you do this the right way, then this will recur, or whatever.
And I think that everyone believes that long term everything's going to be fine, but it's just like now, short term is real estate sometimes, right?
Well, and I feel like too, a lot of people know that real estate traditionally is a safe investment, long term, depending on how long you can hold your cards, or where you got in.
And the buyers know it's a buyer's market right now.
And it's similar to, with the stock market, but you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, right?
You do.
And when you mention the
fact
but
that everyone gets worried about that, right?
Buyers, right? Yeah. When you're now buyers got out of the game right, where they sold at the peak, right? And so the 2021. And so now they were able to take that time to decide what's going to be best for them and also act, like you said, when it is the buyer's market. So,
yeah. I think the one thing that I saw this past week as just kind of a point of conversation is that I think that it's not laws, but I think that some of the lending power is being pulled back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And we remember 2008, 2009, and so a lot of real estate market is being compared to right now. And so a lot of lenders are really holding those learnings live right now.
Let's see how this shakes out.
Yeah, let's see how this shakes out. We don't want to become another, I don't know. We had a lender back in then that we ended up having to remortgage because they went bankrupt. A Countrywide or Side or something. I don't even know. It's not even around. But I definitely saw in the last week, and listen, real estate is a tricky business, and nothing is certain until you get to the closing table, right? And
very
I know
true.
that. And I love working with the clients. That's why I love this job, is that I love working with the clients. It doesn't matter if you're purchasing $100,000 mobile home, or a regular home, or a condo, or you're buying a $10 million home. I just love working with the clients and helping them. But in the last week, I definitely saw a combination of things. I think like some people getting off the sideline that were renting because it is cheaper for them to buy. It right out of the gate, as long as you've got everything situated. But I guess my whole point of saying that is that sometimes it's easy to start shopping before you know what your budget is. And like, you don't go to the grocery store and don't know how much money you have in your account
to spend. A normal adult.
Right. Adulting stinks. We've already defined that very long time ago.
Some are better at it than others.
Yeah. And sometimes we have to be reminded that adulting stinks.
Card decline.
Yes. Or do you want to open up this new line of credit? Sure.
Why not?
What did we talk about it once before? I was like, Auntie, I'm sure. I need to open a credit card for this hot dog. Okay, I'll do it. Sell it. Got it. Done.
Punch my card.
Exactly. But that would be the one thing that I would say, like, kind of buyer beware, is that, and it's not all of them, but I just think that you have to be really, just make sure, like, there are so many different, it's not just what you can afford. It's also like what the insurance is going to be. It's also making sure that you understand like what your monthly payment is in junction with the rest of your bills. And I'm not saying that it's because it's so expensive. It's just that you can get wrapped into the emotional piece of being able to buy a house and afford a house, and then lose sight of the fact that like it's actually a major responsibility to do with that, and to own it
and keep her up.
So unfortunately, in the last week, and I will continue to work with all three of these clients, I certainly don't mean any ill with them at all, but I had 3 deals that went sour because they just couldn't get across underwriting. And that's so sad. And I'm the selling and buying side. That wasn't just like me representing the buyers. And it was 3 different loan officers. So I just think that there's a tight vessel right now.
I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. I'm not currently working with any true active.
Right.
I got a couple of people that were keeping an eye on some things.
Yes.
Personally, Trent and I are always looking.
Always looking. Oh, another one popped up down the street from the Surhant one. I got to look at it. Like literally 2 doors down. So we got to look at that one.
I like it. As long as it's on that side of the street.
It is on that side of the street.
Yeah. I need that X.
We need, that tracks. You got to be looking at the golf course.
They had an open house though at that one.
I know. I took a picture of it. Yeah, it's right on Burning Tree.
All right. Nobody knows what we're talking about, but there's a particular house in Stephanie's neighborhood that I've been personally keeping an eye on.
Yes.
And I mean, if we live in the same neighborhood, how cool would that be?
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
Or dangerous. I could just put my golf cart right over to your house.
You know what? I'll have to look at your deed restrictions. Am I allowed to put a nice looking she shed? Probably not, because it backs to the golf course.
No.
Absolutely not. All right,
but you can put up a fence and hide jet skis behind it as long as they don't know.
Until the Google Maps updates their freaking thing, because I'll tell you what,
they don't even have the right color house.
I saw a house. This is another trick, and I'm not trying to give the HOA Karens out there any tips or tricks, but there was a particular house in a particular area, south, and it you're not supposed to have all the things in the driveway and all the things like that. You're not even supposed to have it in the backyard.
No, you're supposed 24 hours. That's it. That's
but this one was like, you can have it in the backyard as long as it's in like an actual enclosed like garage or some type of completely screened in structure.
Oh.
So I'm like, so if I can get my boat on my pool cage, that means I can keep it in
there. My next door neighbor has his like incognito.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So I did go Google Map, and I was like, look, that one has one in their privacy fence. That one has one in their backyard. That one has one in their backyard. Oh, I just said. So,
but everyone wants to come. What evacuation
nobody
zone
can see it
for hurricanes?
Right, nobody can see it because it's privacy fence. Real nice white vinyl, all the things. And then I noticed some of the backyards has those like triangle like sunshade, right?
Yes.
Over the area that clearly
Yes.
has the 2 gate on the side of the
Yes.
fence. And I know that those are there to keep my
Google Maps.
Google Map looking butt
Yes.
off.
Yes.
So, but again, it wasn't because I was going to report anybody. I was just like, I guess
How strict is
I
this?
was that bad buyer / agent saying, well, if they're doing it,
Yes.
we can do
Yes.
it. Meaning, let's try it.
If they have 10 dogs, we can too.
Hey, you know what? If they will get busted when they get busted. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Totally.
But trust me, that's not the energy I'm looking for.
No, well, believe me, and everyone comes knocking on our door. I mean, no one did for Helene, which is comical because we have water in our streets. But like everyone says, our evacuation plan is actually is one of your jet skis in your backyard. And I'm like,
well, then we should take a vote as a neighborhood. Okay. And then we also have a 19-foot wellcraft.
right,
Vote.
nice.
We're saving the neighborhood.
Clearly.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll take
Exactly.
27 cents of those monthly.
Exactly. But I don't even know where we were at this. We were on a
Where
tangent.
were we talking about? We were talking about the houses and burning trees. See, this is the problem, though. But this just proves to you, good people, that we do really enjoy each other's company.
You were saying that you have some active buyers that.
Oh, I have some active buyers,
yeah.
but I don't have anybody that we're actively like making offers on right now.
I mean,
so that's a different thing for me right now. The only listing that I have left, because I had a closing about
Yes, you did. It's a big one. You have to show pictures of that one.
Yeah, actually, I might go ahead and actually send it.
You have to, because that was amazing.
There's a beautiful waterfront
so
property
well,
right on the Boca.
I didn't even get to see it. It went up and out as quickly as possible.
It did. It was less than 72 hours that we had the very first showing, and they made a cash offer 3 hours later.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a beautiful home. It worked out really well. Sellers were ready to go. Buyers knew what they wanted. It worked out well for everybody.
The house was, the pictures were just exquisite.
Yeah, it was really nice. You know, I know this makes a lot of agents nervous, but after the inspection period,
oh my gosh, my worst.
We had a
period.
little meet and greet at the house where the buyer couple was actually able to come and meet the sellers.
Oh, that's great because they're from out of town.
Review all of the systems.
Were both of them from out of town?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they must be.
The sellers had already left.
Yes.
They were living elsewhere, and they knew they would have to come home and wrap up things and things like that. But the buyers, my understanding is it's a multiple property situation, so I don't think they'll be there full time. But they have no interest in using it as a vacation rental either.
But it's probably set up as a smart home, so they had to figure all that out.
Well, that's the thing. It's a gorgeous, newer built home, smart home, exactly. 5-bedroom, 4-bath, pool, had the lights, the jets, the outdoor lighting, the split air, like different HVAC systems. Everything was a touch light, that fireplace, the smart TVs, everything. So yeah, it was nice. They were able to go over everything together.
That's awesome. That's actually so underrated
and they all got along. So I was like,
yeah, that's fantastic.
And I was kind of, I understand where the buyer's agent was coming from. When I told them, I said, seller has offered his phone number to arrange the day to meet. Right now, they'll be in town this day to this day. So basically, then the buyer's agent got it, and he went ahead and released that to the buyer.
Wow.
And so then it was, I guess the buyer hadn't got back with his agent, so I messaged the buyer's agent saying, hey, seller, just let me know. Everybody's scheduled to meet on this day at this time. I'm not going to be present.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you think I need to be present? I go, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not traditional to have the parties come together.
No,
usually
it's not.
That's also
it's not.
After all signings.
Yes.
And then we
just
go
so
together.
No one says anything wrong, or you don't ever know. You don't. But you know what we should do for next episode actually is talk about some of these luxury homes that are in the area.
Yes.
Like as we call them, fine home and estates. Because I've been into 3 of them showing some buyers. The one that's on Gulf Boulevard in Reddington.
Yeah. That's
gorgeous. At $10 million. I viewed that home with one of my buyers. It was exquisite. And then I went to the one on 129, which is beautiful. And so I could.
But they need an outdoor staircase.
They do.
Builder afterthought. So
yeah, that was. But we should talk about that next time. As
we should
go through some of them.
I think that would be great.
And make it full blown because there's just some fantastic properties over here too.
I think so too. We could do a show.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But there's also some things too that that I learned because this was the largest price point of my real estate
Yeah,
career right
yeah.
now. And so there were just different ways of handling
Mhm.
that type of a listing that you need to know as an agent.
Yeah.
And also that if your agent is not asking you these things, it's concerning for me now knowing what I know. And
Yeah.
that there is a whole nother upper echelon of expectation
Sure.
when you're dealing with co-broking and the buyer pool and everything, that these are things we're going to need to know. And these are things that need to be on point.
Yes.
You absolutely cannot not power wash.
Right.
You absolutely cannot not, make sure the elevator button isn't loose.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
absolutely cannot not, think just
All of
little
those
things like
things.
that. So, but yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Okay, so before we let the good people go, though, it is currently April 21st. I want to make sure to mention that this Thursday is the State of the Beaches
Yes.
Mayor Town Hall. And I'm really excited about this because, yes, we have our amazing mayor that just put on this town hall Q&A that we spoke about last week.
I just love what they're doing
Which
in
was
the town.
great. But this is going to be a little bit of a bigger picture. I love the fact, though, that we're hostess. Because it's at the city of Madeira Beach City Hall, which is near ROC
And
Park.
just on a gorgeous location. Too.
Gorgeous location. And it's going to be moderated by a former Spectrum 9 Bay News anchor.
Mhm.
And it's going to have multiple different town mayors. I still keep checking the itinerary to see if they've released which actual mayors are going to come.
Oh.
Because, as a
stuff
nosy Nancy,
happens.
there are particular towns that I'd be interested to hear
Yes.
what is going on.
Yeah, just from the real estate world that we hear.
Well, the real estate world,
because it's
and
different
also,
from town to town sometimes.
obviously, grain of salt, but the social media world.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Obviously, biggest grain of salt you can find.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that there's been a lot of live stream about some of the other city hall town meetings that are going on that I just really want to be like, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
That wasn't true what I read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Which I figured it wasn't, Barbara.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's like, but at the end of the day, I did find out that if you go onto Facebook and you search the State of the Beaches Mayor Town Hall, 2025 State of the Beaches Mayor Town Hall, you can find the event page. They are doing it in person, but they are broadcasting.
Yeah.
So if you need,
Right.
you need to tune in. I'm going to be honest. I live 2 miles away, and I might just tune in instead of going to
See what's
Hall.
going on.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can wear my pajamas in my house.
Right.
I mean, I really could, I guess, but then people would talk if I go to City Hall. So.
They would. I would talk.
Nosies.
That's right. That's right.
But anything else for the good
No,
people
I
that we
think
need to know about?
no, I think it's April. It's exciting. It's warm already, which is fantastic. And
Yes.
I put the top down on the convertible this weekend to get some sun. So look at that.
Yeah.
Look at my hair was blowing. I took a couple pictures for social media.
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
With some, palm trees in the background.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
if you guys are lucky, we'll show those now.
Yeah. or not so lucky, whichever one.
Actually canceled. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
But thank you
Exactly.
guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with, of course, another episode. That'll be our last April episode.
Wow.
It'll probably be 95 then because it's about 89
I
now.
know. We're about ready to hit the 90 days of 90
Oh,
degrees.
bring it. I
I'm
need
good
the
with it.
cleanse.
Me too.
So I
Me
think
too.
the world needs a cleanse.
We do.
And we will take it. So,
Yep.
And some rain for the love of
I know.
So, but anyway, of course, always feel free to give us a follow and a like on socials. Our Instagram page is going to be up and running. Our YouTube channel, we're going to be found on Riverside as well if you want to listen or watch.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.